First up, is your soap killing you? New evidence of the dangers of soap has people wondering if they're better off just leaving shit on their hands. We give you the details on how to avoid pink eye and accidentally consuming your own fecal matter. Next, we speak to sorority sisters engaging in these fancy dance videos about how they explain to the uggos that they need to stand in the back. Next, the WNBA responds to dildos being thrown onto the court with saying it's disrespectful, as most of the league is lesbians that don't like inserting items into their snatch. And so if you're going to be throwing things onto the court, please make it vibrators, which are better for clitoral stimulation. Next, new evidence suggests we can reduce child trafficking by giving love-making refrigerators to pedophiles. Next, Israel stopped short of saying it would take full control of Gaza, with Netanyahu saying we don't want to govern it, we just want to make it uninhabitable for the people living there. And that once all the homes have been destroyed and deemed properly safe, we will return it to the residents. And lastly, a daily internet reminder to be careful who you sleep with.
You're an unethical piece of shit.
Oh, yeah?
He kills dogs because he has to have his bred dogs.
Me?
Yes! You bought those dogs, didn't you?
No.
You didn't adopt them. You didn't save their lives. You don't care about them. You don't care about anyone but
Dude,
yourself.
You are crazy, lady.
Get away from me then. Get away from me.
You walked up to me.
Go away from me. This guy won't leave me alone. Help me. Help me. This guy won't leave me alone. And he is saying that I said something racist when I absolutely did not.
You did.
Please help me. I did not say anything
Who
to
are you,
this guy.
who
Please
are you
get
talking
away from
to?
me. Help me, please. Please get this guy away from me. A doctor,
Dude,
stop. Go away.
You need medication, lady.
You need to get away from me.
Go.
Find out that and more on today's Run Your Mouth.
There you go. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Run Your Mouth podcast. It is a pleasure to be with all of you today. We're here out in Alaska. We got that big budget thanks to YoKratom.com, home of the $6 kilo. Only place in the entire world you can get an entire kilo of kratom for just $6, making it possible to travel up to Alaska to do the real news when Putin shows up and we finally resolve this Ukraine war, which will be the last topic we get into the show. We got a bunch of scattered topics to throw at you guys, a lot going on. I will take all of your comments in the comment section. But first, guys, this is the heart and soul of Porch Tour coming up. Back to some of the OG porches. I mean, I'm going out to here, let's take a look at some of the porches that I got coming up. Get in the car. Come out. We got a whole weekend in Tennessee, Memphis, Bon Aqua, and Chattanooga. I think this is my fifth time being at Andrew's farm out in Bon Aqua, and I'll be out there tailgating. Every single year, I tell people, bring the grills, show up early. I'll be out there in the afternoon. I think this year we'll probably do sliders again with some deli meats on there. But the last 2 years back, I was making sausage hoagies. Maybe we'll do sausage hoagies again. That was a little much. I wanted to go to bed after that. And then I got to run through with basically St. Louis, followed by Pekin, Indiana, which is out in the middle of nowhere. But it's not that far from, what's it called in Kentucky? Louisville, Kentucky. Then we're doing the High Water Saloon outside of Cincinnati, Ohio. Then I got outside of Cleveland. Then I got Philly, and then, of course, the Smokeout, Bugout, stand-up, and music from the Shedcast Boys in Myersville, Maryland at Pubcuz, which is the original porch. You guys want to do some topics first, or should we take some comments to start the show? Let's take a couple comments. John Popick letting me know that Chattanooga's floody. Robbie's going to do floating porch tour this weekend. That would be fun. Boat porch tour in an area that doesn't need boats. I haven't heard from the host that their property is flooded. So I'm going to assume that Porch Tour is still on because I haven't heard otherwise. B from Yo Kratom saying, let's go. That's right. We're going right now. That is accurate. BSO letting me know that was his mom in the video. Just if you meet that lady at the bar, and she seems kind of cute and like she's got a lot of energy. You know, maybe we need to have like better, websites like Rotten Tomatoes. Women can have it for men, letting you know who's an asshole, and maybe we could have profiles for women on, who's crazy. And I think I'm just describing social credit scores that none of us actually want. RMW 2032. Does Dave turn your mic down when he wants to interject? No, I can just feel in my soul when he interjects that but my part's done. Listen, it's not like I got paid by per word on the show. It's Dave's show. If Dave wants to talk, Dave's allowed to talk. I say plenty. Most of the time when he's cutting me off, it's like I was about to be done with what I was saying and then just start rambling into stupidity. And he was smart enough to cut me off when he cut me off. So really, he's doing me a favor because I was running out of words and venturing towards stupid. And he knows because we're friends and we've hung out for long enough it's time for me to cut him off. Runaway Slav, Robbie, I saw your Talmud episode. It made me more anti-Semitic. I am not surprised to hear that. I don't think I did a great job with that, particularly because firstly, I spent one full week putting it together and I kept thinking of jokes and going for jokes. And I don't think I ever really had a cohesive pitch for the people that are living those lifestyles or why the anti-Semites are wrong. I think I went a little too autistic on the breakdown and in going for jokes, and I don't think I had a cohesive enough pitch for why it shouldn't have made you more anti-Semitic. So the fact that was your takeaway is not surprising, nor will I criticize you for that takeaway. John Popick, are you still planning Chicago in September? Now, I had to nix it. Because there were 2 Thursday shows that I wanted to add, and then both of them, it turned out that the Dave weekends included Thursdays. So Denver and Chicago will hopefully be early in next year's Porch Tour, depending on when I hit them with Dave. Because I like to make sure I got 40 minutes plus of new material when I'm in markets, which includes if I was just recently there opening for Dave. I don't always think it makes sense to repeat the market. All right, let's get into the news. We've got a lot of exciting stories to cover. A little bit more random of an episode than your typical episode, but let's start with this. Does the FBI have the power to bring Democrats back to Texas? And I just love the petty shenanigans of some of the news stories from this past week, such as this one. It's just such childish behavior. I mean, all right, just to give you guys the breakdown, I don't understand gerrymandering. Both sides engage with it. I guess it's legal to do. It's an attempt to get more congressional seats. I don't understand it. I don't have a take on gerrymandering. I guess if it's legal, then, both sides do it, and both sides are playing the same game. And in some areas, Republicans are winning that game, and in other areas, Democrats are winning that game. It's just part of the way that the game is played. And, Democrats have used other tools for getting too many seats, which includes counting illegal immigrants, which is not, all right, listen, let's keep it broad here. We don't have to go into gerrymandering. We don't have to go into all the specifics on the legality of who's rigging the game in which way to try and get more seats. The point is a game is being played, and this is part of the game, and it's currently legal. And I guess they could write new laws in Congress to get rid of gerrymandering, but they all are doing it. They're all engaged in it. And then to just not show up so that someone can't have a quorum, that can't be the way that this works. You just don't show up to work and then the job can't do the thing. Like, don't you just have to either quit your job or work your job? It's funny to just be like, oh, I don't like what they're doing here. Firstly, I guess I would think that if someone doesn't show up and their entire job is just to vote on something, and so if enough people don't show, I would just say, like, if people don't show up to vote, their vote is automatically allocated to somebody else. And now I guess you have the problem of, well, does that mean that someone can call a meeting at 2 a.m. and not properly notify them and then vote in their name? I guess you'd have to figure out the workarounds on that too. But it seems cartoonishly stupid that people can just not show up to work and then no one gets to do the job because those people aren't there. Maybe you guys are better on the way that government functions and why it's necessary to have a quorum in order to be able to move forward on things. But I would think if people just aren't showing up, you'd be able to just move forward without them. And it seems like, it's like Looney Tunes to be like, all right, I don't like what the conclusion will be if we're here, so we're just not going to show up. And then they can't do the thing that's going to inevitably happen anyways. It just seems very childish, which makes it fun. It makes it fun. It makes it funny that the FBI has to go track people and drag them back to Texas and put them in a room so that there's a magical number of people, which is the amount of people that you have this thing called a quorum, so that you can then have the votes and they can lose the vote. It seems like a stupid structure, but it's funny how childish it is to both take the job and then not show up for the job and try and hide from showing up so that no one else can do the work. It's just, it seems fun. It's fun. All right, next one, which is just stupid and fun, is you've got Donald Trump is apparently hiding the Obama and Bush portraits in White House stairwell, which it's just petty. I'd like it. You know, call it the criminal wing of the White House. The exhibit of American criminals, and you can put the two of them there, and you know, add pictures of other famous, notorious American criminals, or you could have the garbage hallway, and that's where you start stashing the garbage. I mean, who cares? Why do you got to pretend like you're playing nice with these people? They've never been nice to you. It's funny and petty. You're in the White House, you get to design it the way you want to design it, and these people clearly care about their legacies. About his legacy when he's doing the Iraq war. I think he's thinking, all right, I got to make my people over here happy, so I get my dad's business or whatever. I don't know the inside scoop of what the Bushes were doing, but I don't think, did he care about his legacy and what the American people would think about him afterwards? Or was he hoping when he showed up to the country club of the people that he made a lot of money for, he'd still be in their good graces and that he could still enjoy his ranch? But, you know, other people thought this was newsworthy. Democrats are real upset about it. Do whatever the hell you want with their paintings. It's your White House. Enjoy it for the 4 years that you're there. All right, next one. China cautions tech firms over Nivdia H20 AI chip purchases, which also just petty. China being like, we didn't even want your chips anyways. You worked out a deal so you could sell us the microchips and then we could study them and then rip off your technology and then create more things off the microchips that everyone thinks needs to have a strategic stockpile. Guess what? We didn't even need your microchips. And now just, I think I already spoke about this on the Part of the Problem podcast. My intuition at the moment when it comes to tariffs, which we've discussed quite a bit, and I know a lot of you guys in the audience, you love the tariffs. You swear by the tariffs. You swear by Donald Trump's central planning. You think we need strategic reserves of assets, or you think we need government intervention in this market to bring you back your factory jobs. You think that you're going to get lower income taxes off of the tariff revenue. And you think that this is brilliant strategy by Donald Trump. Every time he changes the strategy, every time he changes the numbers, that's just negotiating. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's out there. He's winning behalf on the American people. And the tariffs are big, beautiful tariffs. You love them. You wake up in the morning, you find out he changed them from 15 to 30%, and you're like, I love 30%. He goes back down to 15%, you're like, I was always a 15% kind of guy. Doesn't matter what he's doing, you know that that's going to bring back your job. It's going to boost critical stockpiles and industries in the United States of America, and we're all going to be wealthier for it. You guys are excited by the tariffs. My intuition on the tariffs is I think it's going to be a little bit like COVID numbers, where you already see Donald Trump's firing people and making sure he gets better reporting of what he likes. I think it's going to be a bit of a situation of unprovable, non-falsifiable, whatever, of we're not going to quite see the impact of missed opportunities because small businesses ended up out of the market because they weren't able to lobby the government for exemptions, or lack of business investment because it's hard to do long-term strategic planning when there's constant changes in the marketplace. Now, I don't think that the tariff, from what I've seen, I don't think we've seen the impact yet. So for those that are raising their hands in victory and being like, look, this didn't increase pricing at all, this is working, look at this tariff revenue, I think it's too early to go, hey, this is working great. And it could also be that the levels aren't high enough to be catastrophic. And we're just kind of left in a place where we're not sure if they were good or bad because it's hard to evaluate the missed opportunities of the investments that did not happen because of difficulty for business planning, or small businesses that were less adaptable of trying to find the exemptions to the tariff laws. So all quite theoretical and I think unknown. But here you've got Donald Trump real excited about that he's going to be making 15% off of all these chips that are being sold to China, which maybe you guys have seen it. You can email me, robsnewsroom@gmail.com. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. If it's dangerous to be sending chips to China, I don't know why Donald Trump taking a 15% cut of it helps the situation. And if it's that we need to continue to remain ahead of China, or we need to continue to make sure that we have enough microchips, I don't know why taking 15% revenue away from the company that's doing that ends up with more. So I don't understand how this shores up the security risk, nor do I understand how this would help us if this is a strategic, unless Donald Trump's saying we're taking the 15% and we're going to invest that into new factories for chips. But then you're got to wonder, well, do you want the government making that investment instead of the company making that investment? Is government better in this industry than these companies are? I don't know. Those are my questions on this topic. I guess we will see how it plays out. All right, next random story. Random stories this week. No through line until we get to the Ukraine topic at the end. I just thought this was funny. That sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell said during a taped interview last month with the Department of Justice that she never saw President Trump do anything wrong or concerning. And are we really going to look to Ghislaine Maxwell on what is considered to be concerning behavior? I feel like Ghislaine might have a different threshold for what might be considered concerning behavior, that Ghislaine making a comment such as, well, I never saw him do anything concerning, might be actually more of an indictment of behavior. Well, what are the specific behaviors that you observe Donald Trump doing that you don't consider to be concerning? What exactly was he doing that you're registering in your mind? Like, instead of giving me the evaluation that the behavior wasn't concerning, can you tell me the behavior so that we can then analyze it? Which is not to say that Donald Trump clearly did something bad. I'm just saying it's amusing to even see a report of, well, Ghislaine said that what he did isn't concerning. Kind of meaningless. All right. The CEO of Intel is highly conflicted and must resign immediately, Trump wrote on Truth Social. There is no other solution to this problem. Thank you for your attention to this problem. Do you guys think Donald Trump needs a better sign-off now? I think I'd like to see like more of like a Gandalf thing, like and Trump has spoken. We got to get him like a big wizard staff or a giant old mallet. I could see him like the Penguin, if you guys have ever seen the Blues Brothers movie, where she just floated back into the room and then the door just closed automatically. I just feel like for Donald Trump, the cunty, office-y, thank you for your attention to this. Let's go bigger. Let's go grander. Let's have the giant Trump mallet of America where, and the Trump has spoken, and maybe have some fireworks that you can see through Twitter or every single night when after Donald Trump speaks or he tweets it out and he goes, the Trump has spoken. If you want to go to DC, you can go see the fireworks show. It's a little bit like if you ever went to Disney World and everyone hangs around for the end of the day so you can see the fireworks by the castle. And for how much you spend to be at Disney World, I don't remember that being that impressive of a fireworks show. I've also learned this about fireworks. Fireworks are a lot more fun when you're doing them not safely and you're right there. They're a lot more exciting when you're right there. When you're at like a safe distance, you used to see them at like a minor league baseball game or whatever. They're not that exciting. But when you're right there and they're in your face and they're exploding right above you, they're pretty good time. The fireworks that they splurged for out in Virginia was really impressive. We had a good time on 4th of July in, I think it was Granbury, Texas, when I was firing Roman candles at the fireworks that did not go off because I'd spent $200 on them. But what they sprung for, and you know what, I like I don't know how to describe this other than I like the like pure gold ones that like shatter and then like crinkle on you. I don't know how to better describe that, but those are my favorite ones. The ones that really like just, come shot the sky, but like a good one, not like when when it really sprays it and then it just, I don't know why I had to turn this gay. I don't know why I had to say I like looking up at the sky and I like seeing the shatter of fireworks, and that I like to envision that it's like someone was cum-shotting on me. So you know what? I take back my description of that, because that's not where my brain went at the time. It's where it went here, and I like the crackliness. We'll just go with it's a noise thing. It's a sensory thing that I appreciate of the fireworks. All right, let's take some comments to recover from that gayness, and then we can move on to more news articles. All right, what do we got? BSO just repeating over and over the words AOCP. I don't know. I don't know what that is. We've got the crackpot whisperer just saying, yo. All right, yo, back at you. All right, BSO question. How do you feel about Oregon sanctuary state status and how it's getting funding cut for programs for citizens? And our governor, Tina Kotex, obviously cares more about illegals than citizens. Well, based on your framing, I don't think I like that. I think I talked about that on a show at one point in time. I don't know that I know enough about it to shoot off the hip, but yeah, it doesn't sound like doesn't sound good when we're using resources from taxpayers and handing it to illegal immigrants over American citizens. So, seems to me like you made the case for me or yourself in the question. RNW23, I have a new appreciation for fireworks now. Fair enough, Tim the Ancient, and then I'm going back. Do you think we'll ever get to talk about libertarian economics in the mainstream like we are getting to about foreign policy right now? Yeah, I would think so. You just need more things to actually break and implode, and then for people to argue about why it happened and whether or not we need more socialism to correct for the socialism that created those policies, or if you need some sort of a strongman emperor to take control over everything, or if perhaps the libertarians could actually insert themselves into the argument and go, nope, it's all these dumb policies that created where we're at now. All right, Trump to oppose 100% chip tariffs, but will exempt U.S. investors like Apple. It's now you might look at this and go, well, he worked out a deal where Apple is going to invest in the U.S. And because Apple's going to invest in the U.S. and you're going to have American jobs, this is actually a win. I read this and I see more of, if you're able to lobby the government and you're a big company, you'll find ways around the tariffs and you'll find out carve-outs so that your business can remain. And what I don't see a lot of, because maybe it's just not happening, but the crushing of smaller businesses, they're not able to get the ear of Donald Trump and let them know why they need a carve-out, which is even on the semiconductors being shipped out. It's because they were able to get a meeting with Donald Trump, explain why it's important that they sell to China, and so they were able to get a carve-out. Senators pitch $1.5 trillion investment fund for Social Security. What to know? And there were two things about this one that caught my eye, is that firstly, you need the reminder of the fact that currently Social Security money, it's not invested, which is so incredibly stupid. Just, I mean, the concept of, because they pretend like, hey, you know, it's forced savings, it's an insurance policy, we're all going to pay in, and then you're going to have money for yourself for retirement. And so to think that the government was taking from your earnings, pretending like it was its own fund, and then just spending it on wars or whatever other nonsense that we couldn't actually afford, as opposed to taking all that money and then investing it so that they could actually have money for us when we retire. It's just a reminder of the fact that, for one, they have thus far, all of that money's not being invested. They collect it from us so that they can spend it and then pretend like they're going to have money for you down the line, which at some point they're going to have to roll it back or inflate it away. I don't know. How many of you who are under the age of 40 who are paying into Social Security are relying on your Social Security checks for retirement? How many people aged 50 even? How many of you think that with, inflation and everything else that's going on in government, hey, when I reach age 70, there's a Social Security check coming for me, so as long as I keep on working, I'll be all right? How many guys there are relying on that check? But then the other thing that I looked at is that, if they were to take most of that money, they got to figure out new ways that they can prop up the stock market and have funds available to keep buying up stocks and keep it all going up. You need new buyers, right? And also, in terms of keeping the interest rates low, you got to pretend like there's buyers for American debt. And so it's funny because if you actually did a $1.5 trillion investment, then boom, I think you just found a replacement for if foreign countries did not buy any of our debt at all. I think the number's like $300 billion a year would be the investment. And so, yeah, if you put $300 billion a year and you just want to buy treasuries, my guess is you're going to shore up, demand for a lack of demand for treasuries, even at lower interest rates. All right. More random topics. We're flying through this. U.S. trade partners jockey for levy waivers. And I'm not even going to read it. It's just more of what I'm describing of if you can get the ear of the government, you might get some carve-outs. All right, here's an interesting one. The Vigilant Flocks, former FBI Director Robert Mueller living in memory care facility report. And listen, I like this website a lot, especially they're a little bit random on putting out their top 10 stories of the day. But when they have that piece, that's a very good piece. And I would say that this is more in the non-traditional conspiracy lane of a website. But then again, what's your outlook on mainstream newspapers like the Wall Street Journal or New York Times? What the hell makes anything credible? But anyways, this is an article claiming that the Robert Mueller is living in a memory care facility. And firstly, if you guys remember back when they were investigating Donald Trump for being a Russian asset, this guy Mueller was being paraded around as best of the best, sharpest and brightest. I think he ran the FBI for a period of time. Yeah, I mean, it's right in the article, former FBI director. I also once read a book, Never Split the Difference, and that guy was praising Mueller as what a fine negotiator and sharp individual Mueller is. But then when they got to the end of the whole investigation, Mueller couldn't remember a goddamn thing. Excuse me, Lord. I don't like to use that language. Mueller couldn't remember a damn thing. All of a sudden, we were talking, he would turn into Biden. He suddenly had Biden's dementia, where after years of being told the best and the brightest, the most organized, the most diligent are working on it, suddenly this guy appears and he can't remember anything. And I'm going to expect that, if you got more actual criminal investigations into these individuals, you're going to see more of them who suddenly are out with their dementia and can't remember anything. I mean, man, if you actually went after Fauci at this age, you'd have more of he really fell off the last 3 years. Man can't remember a damn thing. Yeah, bring in Biden. Investigate him for whatever the hell he was doing in Ukraine. He can't remember anything. Hell will believe. Just that's what they're doing. They're gonna ride out the clock long enough that they can all claim that they got dementia. All right, here we can take a couple comments. Matzo balls. Blah, 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 blah. Social Security is fucked. I'm going to start relying on investing in gold. Can we just stop paying this extra bullshit tax? I'm okay with it. Runaway Slav. By the time I get Social Security store grocery store coupons will hold more value. That is probably accurate. Natural Born Alchemist investment fund based on BTC is a better plan. You see, no problem with any of these. BSO, they used to, but not. You're better off with the cash in your pocket. And matzo balls, Mueller ran the FBI and apparently Epstein blackmail ring. That's interesting. Give me more on that conspiracy. Mueller was behind the Epstein thing the whole time. He was the chief blackmailer in chief. And so now he's got to play the card of I can't remember anything. All right, here's a juicy one. Top Federal Reserve official jobs data strengthens case for rate cuts. And if you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead. You can follow me on Twitter at Robbie the Fire. I kind of tweeted this one out that I thought it was a little bit funny that Donald Trump was all upset about the job reports, because if you were trying to claim that the Fed was getting it wrong and the Fed needs to lower interest rates, a bad job report would be, proof of, look, the Fed is messing up. We need to grow this economy. Look at this. We're short on jobs. And Powell, you're messing up what could be a beautiful economy by having interest rates that are too high, that are ruining what should be great job numbers. But of course, Trump goes the other way and he goes, this is a bunch of bullshit. My economy's perfect. You guys are lying about the job numbers. You juiced it under Biden. and now you're artificially marking these numbers down for me to make me look bad. And not only is the economy doing better than any of you are reporting, but we also still need lower interest rates. And because the reason why we need lower interest rates is because inflation is not a real thing, and we could just go bigger and better and greater. And so, listen, the indicators that are saying that this isn't the greatest economy ever, those are all lies. It actually is incredible. It's the best thing that's ever happened to anybody ever. But we can make this better. It's like a guy at a party and everyone's drinking. He's like, we could get some cocaine going. That would make this party better. Sure, we shouldn't be doing the drinking anyways, but we're already here. Let's have a better party. Anyways, top Federal Reserve official jobs data strengthens case for rate cuts, which is also kind of funny that I think the one dissenter that, Trump was cherishing, putting words in Trump's mouth, but I think the one dissenter that was reported in the decision not to cut rates was this person. And now you have her also going against Trump, though, and being like, look, the jobs data is proof of the fact that we should have the rate cuts. So there you go. I guess she saw it the same way that I did. I'm trying to track down Gene to do hopefully a zero hedge one on the job reportings and the accuracies, because I am seeing some big time. I don't know. My intuition kind of was, yeah, they probably were juicing the numbers to favor Biden. And then I did an episode with Gene last year, and he was pretty adamant that that was complete nonsense. I mean, not just adamant. He knows these things. He looks at the charts. And you guys can go back. You can watch that episode for yourself. You can hear Gene in Gene's own words, but he also stood by the fact that these other departments are honest people and that they're actually doing real reporting and that they do not work directly for the president and that they're not juicing the numbers to favor one or to hurt another one. And the criticisms now, I mean, people are saying that it's like, they say don't shoot the messenger and Donald Trump's just shooting the messenger, and that it's actually bad for the United States because then less people are going to want to buy treasuries and whatnot if they all of a sudden think that we're juicing numbers. Don't know enough about it. Hopefully I'll do an episode with Gene and then you guys can get some actual information on the topic. Though, what exactly Donald Trump is seeing financially and what is his brilliant plan and what is he looking at that is informing these decisions for more tariffs and lower interest rates? Well, I saw this in a Mishtalk article, and perhaps this has been clarified since this incident, or maybe this was a rough cut, but appears to have Donald Trump referencing a chart showcasing, I think, job growth, but no one can actually see what's in the chart, nor does Donald Trump explain to us what he's looking at. But there's one magical chart that Donald Trump can point to let you know the economic data of why everything's fantastic. And, we just don't have the same eyesight as the Donald, so we don't know what exactly he's seeing here. But I guess here's the magical chart that justifies everything he's doing. Let's give it a watch.
They're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great. But this chart is pretty amazing.
I love that they give him
Right
giant
here.
charts too. It's the unlabeled everything is up chart. It's like Donald Trump goes, all right, listen, I'm not feeling good about some of what I'm reading in the news. Can someone bring me the giant everything is going up chart? And someone's like, I got that for you, and I'll bring you Diet Coke, sir. We worked on some new charts that says everything's going up and it's incredible, and here's a Diet Coke, sir. Let's continue.
All new numbers.
All new number on what? What are the new numbers on? What's on the chart? But there you go. Donald Trump's in his office and somebody on his staff is preparing the look, everything's fantastic and it's all going up charts.
Okay.
Let's watch that again.
But this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this.
Look, there's
this
one
is great.
chart that puts it
But
all
this
together
chart
for you.
Is
in case you were
pretty
doubting
amazing.
him.
Right here.
And there it is. Look at that. Everything's going up. It's all wonderful chart. It's
All
right
new
here.
numbers.
All new numbers.
Okay. They're all.
Hey, I took that one from another article. Maybe I have it wrong. Maybe there's more context. Maybe someone got a better shot of it that they can read what's on the chart. Maybe that's showing the fact that the jobs are going up. But I'm pretty sure it's just the giant chart of Donald Trump's incredible, prepared for his meetings. Trump targets Russia via India, and we'll see what goes on. We got this peace summit, which we're about to break down everything going on in the Ukraine situation in a minute. What caught my eye about this is at the beginning of the Ukraine war, we're going to shout out Gene Epstein again, was I had it wrong where I was like, I think this is going to be driving up, oil prices because you're taking all of the Russian natural gas off the table. And then he pointed out that as long as China and India are still buying it, it should have no effect whatsoever because we're not actually limiting the world supply. It might not be available to us, but it's still being sold. And I guess it's only if it was completely taken off the market, then you would have a decrease in supply. And now you have India. I think they're saying, hey, we need that natural gas. So even if you're going to tariff us, we're not going to stop buying it. Also, who knows if Donald Trump actually goes through with this plan of increasing tariffs on people that are trading with Russia. But even as a total theoretical, if they stop buying that natural gas, I mean, I don't actually know, but I'm just stating. I wonder what the impact on that would actually be, because I would venture to guess that maybe it just makes more available to China, or then maybe you actually have a reduction in available supply for, I mean, nat gas. All right. Anyways, I guess I probably didn't need to read that story. All right, now let's do a breakdown of everything that's going on with Russia and Ukraine. Before we do, let's thank our last sponsor for today's episode, which of course is sheath.com. Guys, hot summer, sweaty months. You don't want your balls flapping in the wings, stinking up your legs, with ball set dropping and mixing in with your swamp ass up your ass crack. That's not what you want, all right? You don't want to be walking around with a mixture of sweat from your legs, your balls, and your ass crack. Nobody wants that. Those are three things that should be separated. And you know how you can separate them? By going to sheath.com and grabbing the greatest underwear. I got a sneeze. Sneeze coming. Oh, I just ruined it. Dude, that felt like that was going to be a really big sneeze. I was excited for that sneeze. Where do sneezers go when they get lost? When your nose gets like all ready and rattled and then the sneeze just disappears. Does it go into your brain? Am I going to fart it out later? What happened? Guys, that was going to be an epic sneeze. And now it's just maybe it'll happen later in the day and you guys will miss it. I miss you. I miss that. All right. Anyways, back to sheath.com. Back to sheath.com. Guys, right now, use promo code RYM. You get yourself 20% off the greatest underwear that's ever graced the balls of man. And let me tell you, you don't want to be out in the summer without your sheaths. You don't want that swamp ass. You don't want that ball sweat dripping down your legs. You want to be calm, cool, and collected. Sheath.com, promo code RYM for 20% off the greatest underwear that's ever graced the balls of man. All right. First, we've got Trump rails against unfair media, quoting fire losers ahead of high-stakes meeting with Putin. And I got to agree with Trump here. The fact that Bolton is still on the news and Bolton still gets to be out there going, Donald, the guy you voted for, he doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, I make those complaints, but, Bolton can't make those complaints. I can make those complaints. Bolton can't make those complaints. Bolton, but like the guy's there. You don't get to be like, oh, what are we supposed to do? Should we do a new vote for someone else to go figure out the problem? Was Biden doing a better job at the problem? I mean, the fact that Bolton is still allowed to grace the airwaves to just preach endless war, and no, we got to keep this thing going. We can't possibly let Putin walk away with the victory. If Putin walks away with the victory, then he's going to feel emboldened. He's going to go take over all of Europe. I don't even know what the claim is at this point. But going into this meeting, first is we've got Ukraine strikes Russia's largest crude export pumping station near border. It seems to me like Zelensky wants to keep this thing going. And so Zelensky, maybe it's that they're all just trying to get their last strikes in, but or they're trying to walk in with maximum amount of leverage to go, no, you're losing this thing. And so we're not going to give up those territories, or no, we've got the ability to damage all your oil fields. And look, we haven't done it yet, but we're going to do it. And so you better give us back our territories. But, coming into this potential peace summit, you got the Ukraine is striking crude export pumping stations. Then you've got Zelensky reiterates it's impossible to recognize any decisions from Alaska summit. This is from Zero Hedge. Let's give this a read. For about the third day in a row, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has let it be known that his government will not recognize whatever comes as a result of the Trump-Putin summit set for Alaska this Friday. Ukraine will not recognize the decision taken at the Russia-U.S. summit in Alaska without its participation, Vladimir Zelensky said. This comes after he already said over the weekend any decisions will be stillborn upon arrival. It is impossible to talk about Ukraine without Ukraine. No one will recognize that, he said in fresh Tuesday statements given at a forum. That's why this conversation may be important for the Russian-U.S. bilateral track, but they cannot decide anything on Ukraine without us. I hope the U.S. president understands and takes it into account. And now we've got a video, which I will, for all you guys that just listen, I will, it's also, he's back to no longer talking English. But here you've got Zelensky talking about that Putin's lying and he's just gearing up for more war. And he's trying to sucker Donald Trump here by pretending like he's interested in peace. And so I'll read the
Також сьогодні була доповідь розвідки і військового командування про те, на що розраховує Путін і до чого реально готується. Зокрема, це і приготування воєнні. Він точно не готується до припинення вогню і війни. Путін налаштований тільки на те, щоб подати зустріч з Америкою як свою особисту перемогу. І далі продовжувати діяти так, як і раніше. Тиснути на Україну, так, як і раніше. Немає жодної ознаки, що росіяни отримали сигнали готуватись до післявоєнної ситуації. Поки що немає. Навпаки, вони переміщують свої війська та сили таким чином, щоб розпочати нові наступальні операції. Якщо хтось готується до миру, він цього не робить.
Already trying to undermine the peace process, letting us know that Putin's not serious about peace, and even if Donald Trump manages to cut a deal with him, he's not going to recognize it. Then you've got air defenses drastically expand around Putin's residence where rumored girlfriend and son lives, which wouldn't that just be... Can you imagine if Zelensky now started going after Putin personally and took out to really make sure that the war kept on going? I'm not saying that that is what he's doing. I was saying, can you imagine? And then here's the last one. Moscow troops make advance in Ukraine just days before Trump set to meet with Putin, which I think it's I think they're moving forward with everything they're doing, and they're not going to halt it because they want the urgency for Trump to say, this is enough. Ukraine's going to fall anyways. And so on both sides, they're seeking maximum leverage to go, which I don't know at this point what leverage Ukraine has, particularly if the U.S. finally just says, which it should have done before, hey, we ain't giving you no more money so you guys can go fight and have people die for absolutely no reason. Lena Spot letting me know that Zelensky is too loud. Fair enough. It's okay. Runaway Slav, really mad about it. Really mad. Real Jesus fucking Christ, mute the video. It's louder than you. All right, fine, man. It was all of a minute. It's okay. He was saying, I'll give you the short. He was saying that they weren't looking for peace. Runaway Slav, Robbie, have you seen or heard how Israelis are buying up land in Ukraine and setting up Jew-only towns to create a second Israel while the Christian men die in the war, bringing back the Khazar Empire? I have not read that. Matzo balls. Zelensky can't let the war stop. The second he does, he loses all power and might get investigated. Yeah, that's certainly possible. All right, I think that's enough episode for one day. Guys, we got a lot of porch tour action. Like I said, Memphis, followed by outside of Nashville, and then Chattanooga. Impressed by amount of tickets for Chattanooga. I think I'm already at like 40 tickets, which is not bad for 4 or 5 days out for a Sunday show. So props to Chattanooga. I think I'm supposed to do a live podcast in Nashville, but I might just nix that so I can do more drinking with the fans. We'll see. I don't know. Anyways, back next week for another episode. Hope to get a Zero Hedge one out next week too. And that's it. I have no reason to continue talking into this microphone. We have done the show. It's over. It's complete.